Hey guys, recently quite a few people have been asking me the same question, which is a little annoying and startling. When they find out about my past that I converted to Judaism, they ask things like, well, did you do a DNA test? Maybe you were already Jewish. But they won't say already, they'll say maybe you were Jewish. And it's like, well, I am Jewish because I converted and the Rabbanim accept converts. And there's a whole halacha about it. So I don't need to have been Jewish before my conversion in order to be Jewish now, hence why the halacha accepts converts. About that, on top, it's actually the case that in the times of Mashiach, we will be gathering all the sparks and retrieving all of the light that's been marred and kind of like trapped in klipot. And so there is going to be this huge like returning. And then further, the only people we actually know are Jewish are converts, because they converted in this lifetime according to halacha. And so everyone out there who thinks they were born Jewish and have this whole big lineage, I'm not the person who's saying this, I'm just repeating what I've been told and heard and makes perfect sense, is that there's, lighting change. There is a very high degree, a very high standard of care that would need to be filled in order to prove without a doubt that someone is Jewish. And so those of us who have converted in our current lifetime, in this incarnation, know with absolute certainty that we are. And those who were quote unquote born Jewish, we'll always have that question of, where exactly, for those thousands of generations, was there, something that was done that was not kosher, meaning like someone who did into a halachic conversion, or was there intermarriage? And then, look, there's a lot of questions. I don't know the answers. All I know for sure is that asking a convert if she did her DNA test because maybe she was Jewish, it's really irrelevant now because I've done the conversion. Someone also recently said to me, maybe try to find like lineage and find information about your mother's mother because maybe you are Jewish. And ouch. I was like, maybe? And so I responded, I said, no, I am Jewish. I don't need to have had my mother's mother to be Jewish in order for me to be Jewish now, having completed a conversion. And she's like, no, of course, that's what I meant. I meant maybe you already were and you didn't need to do it. And it's like also irrelevant, also useless information. Okay, let me take that back. Not useless information, because yes, then I would have to try to convince my mother and sister to understand that they also are Jewish and maybe do mitzvahs. So barring, what my decisions would be about how I may or may not choose to speak or influence, my family members about it. But, just in regards to my status, saying something like maybe you are Jewish is like so insulting, really, just so insulting. And so when I said, no, I am, she's like, oh yeah, no, of course, but meaning like maybe you wouldn't have had to do the conversion. It's like, well, I already did it, so of what relevance is that now? I can't go back in the past, right? So again, it belies I think the speaker's, true feelings. It's like a Freudian slip, right? That they think in order to be Jewish, you had to have been born Jewish. And so my response is, those of you who were born Jewish think you're Jewish. I know I'm Jewish. And so anyway, it's come up several times, and this is from people in the Jewish community, and it's not okay, it's not nice, and check your halacha, speak with rabbis, not just gossiping amongst other women who have their opinions, but amongst learned people who know, because it's like mamish directly in the Torah, like to treat a convert with care and respect and love, mamish is like right there in the Torah, because we have no immediate family that understands what we've chosen most of the time. In situations like my own, where neither of my parents identify as Jewish, certainly there are some converts who one parent may identify as Jewish, or may actually be halachically Jewish. But for many of us, we don't have that. So the holidays come around and it's really hard. Birthdays and special events and special occasions, it's like we feel like we're literally alone without parents in the world. And so to just kind of like rub it in, like, oh, you're not really, like, it's not the way Hashem commanded us to treat converts. It's not the way I treat converts. In particular, it should never be said, oh, did you know so-and-so is a convert? Which is interesting, because after I recently had a lovely meal with a young couple in my neighborhood, someone else who was at the meal with me, later, next time I saw her, she said, oh, did you know so-and-so, the wife and mother of this family, is a convert? Or, she told me that her story, it's amazing. And, she tried to make it sound like, oh, such a positive thing, regardless of whether or not that's what she really believes, I don't know. However, it definitely shows me a lot that she either doesn't know or disregards the halacha to not out a convert, right? You should never remind a convert that they are one, because they are mamish part of Klal Yisrael. And to tell someone else is I think one of the highest forms of Lashon Hara. It's useless speech. It does no benefit, and it can do tremendous harm, because the person you're telling, the person who told me that didn't know that I was a convert. So they could be telling someone who's very judgmental and might, alienate or no longer speak with this person, or not hire this person for jobs, or not recommend this person for certain things that this person is looking for. So it really is useless information. It's irrelevant to anyone's life, except the person she wants to marry, whether or not he's a Kohen. Numerous shadchanim and rabbis have told me I do not even need to tell someone I'm dating until it actually may be going somewhere. So if you meet on the first or second date and you don't like each other and then you move on, it's irrelevant for them to know. And one of the reasons specifically given to me was that it may deter them from recommending you for someone else, because people are judgmental, people discriminate, and they shouldn't. And we don't live in Geula yet. We're not in we're not perfect. We're human. And so to not put a stumbling block before the blind, you don't tell someone when they may use that in a damaging way. You don't give someone that information. And then also, if the person is recommended by a shadchan, then the shadchan knows, and the shadchan knows whether or not to recommend a Kohen. So again, it's only relevant in such a rare and narrow and such a specific situation, and in all other cases completely irrelevant, because once someone converts, they're just as Jewish as anyone else. Anyway, it's been coming up a lot recently, and I feel like it really shouldn't. It's been like thousands of years that Jews have been accepting converts, so I don't know, get used to it, start being nice, welcome us as if we're just like you, because we are. And so anyway, that's my 2 cents on the matter.